Welcome back to our channel History Coins HD. As you that old is gold, but these rare Lincoln wheat penny coin that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. If you're someone who loves old coins, rare finds, and stories that blend history with mystery, then you're in for a real treat today. We're diving into one of the most fascinating coins ever minted in the United States, the 1944 Lincoln wheat penny. At first glance, it might look like just another old copper coin, but what lies beneath the surface could make your jaw drop. This unassuming little penny comes from an extraordinary moment in American history. Picture the year 1944. World War II was raging across Europe and the Pacific. The United States was operating in full wartime mode. Factories were repurposed to build tanks and airplanes, women were joining the workforce in record numbers, and the US Mint was doing its part too by adjusting how coins were made. Now here's where it gets really interesting. In 1943, just a year before our star coin was minted, pennies weren't even made of copper. That year, they were struck in steel coated with zinc, because copper was a critical material for making ammunition and other wartime equipment. These so-called steel cents were unique to 1943. Then in 1944, the mint made the switch back to copper. But something unusual happened along the way. While most 1944 pennies were made from recycled ammunition shell casings, which gave them a slightly different composition, there were rare cases where leftover steel planchets from the previous year accidentally got used again. These minting mix-ups created ultra-rare error coins that today are among the most hunted Lincoln pennies in the world. And now, let's talk about the 1944 Lincoln wheat penny specifically. That D stands for the Denver Mint, one of the major production facilities for U.S. coins. Millions of 1944 pennies were made there. But not all of them are created equal. Among the mass of ordinary pennies lies a tiny number that are incredibly special, either due to minting errors, unique characteristics, or simply the perfect preservation of the coin over time. Collectors obsess over details like doubling on the date, anomalies in the mint mark, or subtle shifts in metal composition. Some coins that look plain to the average person can actually be hiding incredible secrets if you know what to look for. But perhaps the most breathtaking part of this story is what one of these coins is actually worth in today's collector market. Imagine having a coin in your pocket change, in an old jar on a shelf, or tucked away in a relative's coin collection, that turns out to be one of the rarest of its kind. That's the magic of numismatics, and yes, some versions of the 1944 wheat penny, particularly those with rare errors or in flawless uncirculated condition, have been known to command absolutely stunning prices when they go to auction. We're not just talking hundreds or even thousands of dollars. One extremely rare example, a pristine 1944 Lincoln wheat penny with exceptional characteristics, once sold for an astonishing $105,000. That's right, one single penny. One tiny piece of copper history. $105,000. So if you have old coins lying around or a wheat penny that's been sitting unnoticed in your drawer, it's time to take a closer look. You might just be holding a small fortune in your hands. Top 2. We're setting our sights on a humble little penny that many people overlook, but seasoned collectors know better. We're talking about the Lincoln wheat penny from the year 1950, minted in Denver. You might be surprised just how much this small copper coin could be worth today, and trust me, you'll want to watch until the very end to hear the jaw-dropping number. Let's rewind to the mid-20th century. The year is 1950. America was just coming out of the shadows of World War II and stepping into a new era of peace, prosperity, and possibility. The country was growing, families were moving into suburbs, televisions were becoming a household staple, and the economy was booming. Amid all of this change, the United States Mint continued to strike millions of coins for daily use, most of them passing through hands in grocery stores, soda fountains, and movie theaters without a second thought. But not all coins from that time were ordinary. Some carried with them a story of precision, craftsmanship, and in rare cases, mistakes that would make them legends among collectors. The Lincoln wheat penny from 1950 is one of those coins. This particular penny, marked with a D just beneath the date, was struck at the Denver Mint. Millions of them were produced, making it seem common at first glance. But here's where things get fascinating. Not all of those coins were created equally. Over time, collectors began discovering that a small number of these pennies had something different about them, something rare, something unique, and something valuable. You see, when it comes to coin collecting, condition is everything. A coin that's been through decades of pockets, cash drawers, and coin jars is interesting, sure, but one that's been carefully preserved, untouched, and kept in mint or near mint condition? That's a whole different story. The 1950 penny becomes a serious collector's dream when found in pristine condition, especially with a bright, lustrous surface and sharp details, and it doesn't stop there. Some 1950 pennies have what are known as die varieties or errors. These can include doubling on the date or lettering, misplaced mint marks, or unusual metal compositions. To the average person, these errors might look like minor quirks, but in the world of numismatics, they can skyrocket a coin's value. It's the kind of discovery that gets coin collectors talking, and it's what fuels the excitement behind the hobby. Just imagine, tucked away in an old family coin jar or sitting quietly in a coin album, a single 1950 penny could be hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right pair of eyes to uncover its secret. That's what makes coin collecting so thrilling. It's not just about the money, it's about the history, the hunt, the mystery of what might be hidden in the change you almost forgot about. Now, you've waited long enough. Let's talk about what makes this coin truly unforgettable. One exceptional 1950 Lincoln wheat penny, preserved in perfect, uncirculated condition, with remarkable detail and eye-catching color, was once sold at auction for a breathtaking total of $95,000. Yes, you heard that right. $95,000 for a single penny. A tiny coin that could slip through your fingers today might just be worth a small fortune tomorrow. So before you toss aside those old wheat pennies, take a moment to really look. Because you never know when a coin from decades ago might just change your life. Top 3, we're diving into a coin that might just be hiding in plain sight, sitting quietly in a drawer, lost in a jar of old change, or tucked away in a family collection. It's the Lincoln wheat penny from 1958, one of the last of its kind in a coin that carries both a legacy and, in rare cases, an incredible value. By the end of this video, you'll learn exactly why this simple 1-cent coin can turn heads, and how it might be worth far more than you think. Let's rewind to the late 1950s. It was a time of rock and roll, classic cars, and a country on the edge of big changes. Dwight D. Eisenhower was president, Elvis Presley was topping the charts, and American households were beginning to see the rise of television as a dominant force in daily life. But while the world was changing fast, one thing remained constant in every pocket and purse across the country: the familiar Lincoln wheat penny. By 1958, the Lincoln cent had already been in circulation for nearly 50 years. Designed by Victor David Brenner and first issued in 1909, it was the first U.S. coin to feature the portrait of a real person. And it wasn't just any person, it was Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, chosen to honor the centennial of his birth. And now here's where it gets especially interesting. 1958 marked the final year of the wheat reverse design. After this year, the familiar wheat stalks framing 1 cent would be replaced by the Lincoln Memorial, ushering in a brand new era for the coin. That's why the 1958 wheat penny is more than just a coin, it's a historical bookmark, the end of a beautiful design that collectors had cherished for decades. Millions of these pennies were minted in Philadelphia and Denver. Most were used in everyday transactions, buying candy, newspapers, even movie tickets. But as with all coins, not every 1958 Lincoln wheat penny is the same. While many are worth face value today, there are a select few that have something extraordinary about them. These rare coins are the ones that were struck with errors, or preserved in absolutely flawless condition, untouched by time or human hands. Collectors search tirelessly for these elite specimens. Some 1958 wheat pennies show doubling in the text on the front, a condition known as a double die. This kind of error happens during the minting process and creates a shadow-like effect on the date or lettering. These coins are incredibly rare and immediately recognizable to experts. Others may show off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, or other unique anomalies that make them highly desirable in the numismatic world. But even beyond the errors, condition is everything. Coins graded in the highest conditions, known as mint state or MS, with high numbers like 66 or 67, are the cream of the crop. They shine like the day they were struck, and their details are crisp, clean, and beautiful. These are the coins that turn heads at auctions and ignite bidding wars among serious collectors. Imagine holding a penny that's over 60 years old and realizing it's in better shape than most coins minted just last year. That's what makes the 1958 Lincoln wheat penny so special: its combination of historical importance, visual appeal, and rarity in top condition. And now, the part you've been waiting for. There exists a 1958 Lincoln wheat penny so exceptional, so pristine, and so rare that when it hit the auction block, it shocked even the most seasoned experts. One single coin, in perfect uncirculated condition, sold for an incredible $88,000. Yes, you heard that right. $88,000. For a penny.so. Before you toss your old coins into the nearest coin machine or let them gather dust, take a moment to check those dates. Look closely at your wheat pennies, especially any from 1958. You never know when a little piece of copper history could become your next big discovery. Top 4. We're talking about one of America's most iconic and collectible coins, the 1957 Lincoln Wheat Penny. Now, let's step back in time for a moment. The year was 1957. The United States was deep into the post-war boom. The baby boom generation was in full swing, cars were growing tailfins, Elvis Presley was shaking up the music world, and America was preparing to launch its very first satellite into space. Amid all of this excitement and progress, millions of Lincoln Wheat pennies were minted across the country. It might have seemed like just another penny back then, just one more copper coin clinking in pockets and purses across the nation. But what makes this particular year, and this particular coin, so special? Well, 1957 was one of the last years the United States produced the classic wheat penny design. These coins featured Abraham Lincoln on the front, stoic and thoughtful, and on the back, two sheaves of wheat standing tall on either side of the words 1 cent. This design, in use since 1909, is beloved by collectors for its simplicity and symbolism. It represents not just currency, but the roots of American strength, hard work, agriculture, and unity. Most 1957 wheat pennies were minted either in Philadelphia or Denver, and the vast majority were used in everyday life, buying gum, paying for parking, or given as change at diners. But here's where it gets exciting. While most of these coins are worth just a cent today, there are a few rare examples that are worth far more. What separates a valuable 1957 wheat penny from an ordinary one? It all comes down to a few key factors: condition, rarity, and the presence of minting errors. Some of the most valuable pennies ever discovered were simple coins that, through either perfect preservation or unique mistakes during production, became incredibly rare collectibles. Let's talk about condition first. Coins that were never circulated, never handled, and never scratched or tarnished can be graded as mint state. These coins are like time capsules, they look exactly the way they did the day they left the mint. A 1957 wheat penny in mint state condition, especially with a grade of MS67 or higher, is already desirable to collectors, but the real magic happens when there's more than just pristine condition. There are also special error coins, struck slightly off-center, with doubled lettering, or even with unusual markings from a mechanical slip during the minting process. These coins are incredibly rare and highly prized. Some collectors dedicate their entire lives to finding just one example of these so-called perfect errors. Now imagine combining the best of both worlds. A 1957 wheat penny that's not only untouched by time, but also features a rare and striking error. That's where the serious value comes in, and here's the kicker. One such penny, flawless in condition, beautifully preserved, and carrying a unique minting characteristic, was discovered, verified, and sold at auction. Its final sale price stunned everyone and made headlines in the numismatic world. That one small coin, a 1957 Lincoln Wheat penny, sold for an astonishing $90,000. Yes, you heard that right. $90,000 for a single penny. So next time you come across a handful of change, or open that old cigar box of coins tucked away in the attic, take a moment. Look for the date. Examine the condition. You never know, you just might be holding something far more valuable than you ever imagined. Thanks for watching, and if you love the thrill of discovery and the stories behind the coins, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe for more amazing coin finds, and turn on the bell so you don't miss our next treasure. Until then, happy collecting, and keep your eyes on your change. You never know what's waiting to be found.